Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining. Let us wait 1 or 2 minutes more and we'll start. So hello once again everyone. Thanks for joining us today. As you know, this is our Academy series where we cover different topics about Copilot. And in our previous session, we focused on building a foundation across Copilot and how we can use it in our everyday work, specifically in Outlook and Teams. And today we are focusing on a tool that is central to a lot of professionals in everyday work, which is an Excel. So today we'll learn how to understand data, spot trends, and create useful outputs without relying on complex formulas. So topics like how Copilot can help us understand data faster, how to spot trends, patterns, everything will be covered today in this session. And as always, feel free to ask any questions in chat during the session, and we'll also have a final Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Now, I'm very excited to welcome our speakers, Muzamil and Rahat, our AI adoption experts, who will walk you through the session and share practical ways how to use Copilot. So the floor is yours, Muzamil, Rahat. Give us some more insights.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Annie, for that introduction. So from my side, again, thank you for joining everyone. Welcome to our session. Good morning. And let me quickly turn on my camera as well. And let's quickly go into the slides that we will be using for today's session. And let me quickly walk you through the agenda of what exactly we will be covering. Of course, the topic will be about Copilot in Excel, how you can use Copilot inside your Excel sheets, how you can go with your analyst agents, how you can, query your Excel sheets, build visualizations, charts, graphs, all these kind of stuff that you usually do inside your Excel environments that will be automated or, much more, it will be enhanced with the help of Copilot. So that will be covering in today's session. So let me just quickly walk you through the slides that we'll be using. So here is the slides. Let me quickly take you through the agenda. So again, as you can see, we'll be very first giving you a very short intro into exactly what is Copilot. So for the people who have not attended our previous sessions, we'll be looking at the introduction of Copilot in a very short, brief manner. How you can access Copilot inside your Excel sheets. We'll be also looking into how you can prompt your Copilot within your Excel, how you have to structure your prompt. And then we'll be focusing on an agent that has been pre-built by Microsoft. And the agent name is called the analyst. Now, as the name signifies, it is a analyst or it's a data scientist or a data analyst, which is pre-built by Microsoft, which you can make use of inside your work environment, inside your Copilot chat. And after that, we'll be moving on to the hands-on demo, the hands-on scenarios where you can apply your the different skills of Copilot, the different use cases of Copilot inside your Excel sheet. And of course, again, as mentioned, if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box. We'll be happy to help you with that. So let's move on to the very short intro about Copilot. So as you all know, some of you must be already familiar with Copilot. It is an AI tool that has been developed and launched by Microsoft. And the cool part or the unique part of Copilot when you compare it with other AI tools is that it is integrated within your work environment, within your work apps. So inside your Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Teams, Outlook, OneNote, all these kind of, work apps, you'll be able to see or use your Copilot. And there are four different components. We have the large language model, which is the LLM behind Copilot that is working as the engine of your Copilot. It is what responding, it is the component which is responding back to you when you ask it a question. And there are a lot of models with which work with Copilot, but by default it works with the GPT lineup, the GPT series of models. But recently Anthropic also has been added, so you'll be able to find Claude models also integrated with Copilot. The second component, as you can see, it is Microsoft Graph, which is basically the data that you own inside your work environment, your Excel sheets, your whatever data, whatever folders or files that you have within your OneDrive, your SharePoint sites, whatever you have within your work environment, it is your Microsoft Graph, and Copilot will be able to access them on your behalf. Now, the third component, as I mentioned, it is the M365 suite of applications. So not just in Excel, in Word, PowerPoint, Teams, any kind of Microsoft app, you'll be able to find your Copilot. And last but not least, you have the web component also. So when you want to query or when you want to find information from public websites, this is the component that we will be using. So those are the four different components. And let's quickly look how you can prompt your Copilot within Excel. So we had a lot of questions in the last few sessions about prompting, how you can prompt with Copilot. And for every app you use, there is a structure in which you have to prompt your Copilot so that your Copilot will be able to understand your use case better. It will be able to understand your requirements and needs in a better way, and then give you the appropriate answer. And the skill of prompting, it is not confined, it is not something that is confined for the IT industry. It is something that is very that should be common across all the regions, across all the different departments or fields that we have. And regardless of your background, you can be a technical person or non-technical person, whatever it is, regardless of your background, regardless of the job you have to know at least the basics of how you can prompt your AI. So that is one of the most, essential skill that we have to have in this era. And prompt is nothing but the question that you ask to your AI tool. And the way in which you ask your question, the way in which you structure your question is called prompting. And let's look at a very simple prompt that you can do with your Excel sheet. And let's look at the structure, how you can, structure your goal, or, we have dissected the prompt into four different components, and you have to follow, you don't have to, of course, you don't have to follow the exact arrangement. You don't have to follow the exact order, but at least you have to follow the same architecture where put your prompt into these four different parts or four different components, and then give it to your Copilot. Not just Copilot, any AI tool that you use. Now, again, the first part should be your goal. It is what you want to achieve, the task you want to do. It can be, let's say, for example, to find trends from your Excel sheet, or let's say to create you a graph or a chart, or maybe some visualizations like a dashboard or something. Whatever you want to do, it can be to create a column, it can be to create a formula. Whatever task you're trying to do, that is your goal. That is the first part of your prompt. The second part comes the context. So what kind of, let's say, for example, you're trying to create a chart. You're trying to create a graph. And what kind of a graph do you want to create? What are the let's say, features of the graph? What kind of a graph do you want to create? What is the type of chart? What is the type of graph? What all these kind of supporting details, they come under the context of your prompt. Now, the source is basically the Excel file that you attach, or let's say you're trying to prompt Copilot. You can attach an Excel file. You can attach multiple Excel files. And even if you're not attaching a file, you can also open your Excel sheet and use Copilot within your Excel file. So there are multiple options where you can attach the source. You can either upload it directly inside your prompt, or you can just open up your Excel sheet from your Excel application and then use Copilot within your Excel sheet. So that is also fine. But the only thing is, a proper source has to be mentioned while you're prompting your Copilot. The next is your expectation. So that is basically basically how do you expect Copilot to respond back to you. So let's say, for example, if you're trying to create a chart, you want the, the summary of that, or let's say the explanation of the chart to be made in bullet points. That is what you expect. That is your expectation with Copilot. So always have, remind Copilot that you expect the answer to be in so and so format, so that Copilot will be able to tailor or tweak the response based on your expectation. So that is also very important while you're prompting your Copilot. And I have a sample prompt here, which will explain better. I have a sample prompt that I usually do with my Excel files. So here I'm trying to create a 2D column chart that summarizes the revenue growth per year, quarter, include data insights to share with the management. So I'm just uploading an Excel file here. So as you can see in the source, I'm using an attached file. I'm uploading an Excel file, and then I'm telling my Copilot to create a 2D column chart for me from this Excel file that will summarize the revenue growth per year. And then I want some data insights to be generated, which I can share with my management. That is the context. That is why I need the 2D column chart to be generated. Now, how do I want the data insights to be generated? I want it to be in precise bullet point format. So I want it in precise, use bullet points for key insights. That is what I expect from my Copilot. So this is basically how you have to prompt. You have to have a clear structure. You have to provide it a clear goal, what you want to do, the task that you're trying to do. You have to provide it some supporting details, some context about why do you need it, and maybe who is involved, all these kind of supporting details as a context. You have to provide the source. You cannot just give the prompt and expect Copilot to find the source for you. You have to provide a source where you want that information to be taken. It can be an Excel file or whatever it is. It can be an email or a Teams meeting, wherever it is. You have to provide a source for your prompt. And last, you have to have your expectations aligned so that Copilot will be able to tweak or customize the response for you. So that is about prompt. Four components inside your prompt while you're doing it with Excel. And when you talk about Copilot in Excel, there are lots and lots of benefits that you can achieve with Copilot inside your Excel sheets. So previously, when you want some insights from your Excel sheet, you will have to either rely on a manual retrieval process, or maybe you'll have to rely on a much more of a complex analysis tools like Power BI. You have Databricks. So there are multiple, you have Azure Cosmos. You have multiple different data analysis tools out there, but they might be a bit of more complex for most of the users to use. So you might have to either rely on manual data entry or manual data retrieval, or you'll have to either rely on your data analyst. You might have to rely on your colleague as a data analyst to retrieve information. That was the previous scenario. But in today's time, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to wait for any manual process to take place. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just open your Excel file inside your Excel application and just use Copilot within your Excel file to do any kind of a task. It can be, let's say, for example, to generate insights. It can be to automate calculations. You want to calculate some figures, you want to add a new row or a new column. You want to visualize data, you want to create a dashboard out of it. You want to create some presentations for your senior leadership team. So whatever you do, whatever you want to do, or the most common scenarios that you do inside your Excel sheets can be automated or can be enhanced with the help of Copilot in Excel. Let's go through some key features here. So these are some of the use cases. Of course, there are a lot more, but these are the most key features that you get if you're using Copilot inside your Excel sheet. So yeah, so you have data summarization and conditional formatting, what if scenarios, pivot table generation, forecasting and predictive analysis. So let's say, for example, if you have some historical data, and if you want maybe an LLM model, or maybe a machine learning model, or a time series forecasting model to be generated with the help of Copilot, you can also do that inside your Excel sheet. You have generation, trend insights, data insights, analyze text or symbol based data. So there are a lot of things that you can achieve with Copilot in Excel. You can create amazing dashboards that you can share with your senior leadership team. You can create presentations out of your Excel sheet. You can, again, if you have some missing values, some misalignment inside your Excel sheet, or let's say duplicate values, you can clean your data as well. So it's a complete, it kind of a, it's like a colleague which is inside your Excel sheet, which helps with your day-to-day analysis trends. So that is the key features, and we'll be looking at the key features in the hands-on demo later on. So you'll get a better understanding there. And we also have a pre-built agent which will help you with your Excel sheets. Now, this is where I mentioned earlier, which is called the analyst agent. Now, this agent, it is a pre-built agent. So you don't have to configure anything. You don't have to create anything on your own. It's a pre-built agent, which is built by Microsoft. You can just open it from your Copilot chat and just go ahead and use it. Now, as the name signifies, the agent or the analyst agent, it helps you analyze stuff. So when you want to analyze your Excel file, find insights from it, or let's say you want to create maybe a logistic regression or a linear regression model, or you want to do some time series forecasting, you want to create a ARIMA model, what kind of, these kind of model creation, time series forecasting, all these kind of predictions can be done with the analyst agent, can help you do it. Now, one of the key features of the analyst agent is it works on a different LLM model, which is only available to the analyst agent. It is exclusive for the analyst agent. It is a model which is pre-built and kind of fine-tuned for analysis stuff, for analysis scenarios. Now, the name of the model is called O3 Mini. Again, from OpenAI, it is a model owned by OpenAI. It's called O3 Mini. And this model, it is fine-tuned for analyzing things, for going through detail or high-level Excel sheets and finding you the insights or trends. You can also generate visualizations, charts, graphs, these kind of things, dashboards. And let me quickly show you how it looks like. So inside your Copilot chat, as you can see in this screenshot over here, inside your Copilot chat environment, when you log in through your Copilot chat, on the left navigation panel, you will be able to see your analyst agent pinned on your left panel here, left navigation panel. And in addition to running on a different kind of LLM model, what the analyst agent has is it also has access to a sandbox environment on the back end. Now, what this means is if you want to run a code snippet, if you want to run some Python code on the environment, you can do it through the analyst agent because it has a sandbox environment on the back end. So it will be able to run Python code as well. So whatever you try to generate, it can be maybe a graph or maybe a dashboard, or let's say you want to try to do some calculations. Whatever you do with your Excel file, it will be running the Python code on the backend using this sandbox environment, and then it will be showing you the code itself. So let me quickly show you so you'll get a better understanding here. So here, I hope you can see my analyst agent right now. So this is how the agent looks like. Let me quickly show you how it. Yeah, so this is how the agent looks like when you open it from the left. And again, as I mentioned, it works on a different kind of LLM model called O3 Mini, which is fine-tuned for analysis stuff. And let's quickly look. And one of the things that you have to keep in mind while using the analyst agent is it will take some time to give you the response. So it is not as fast as the normal chat environment. It is an agent which will take up to 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon the complexity of your task. And of course, depending upon the size of the file you upload as well. So let me quickly show you. So not to waste time, I have already done a prompt here. Let me show you how it looks like if I have done a prompt. So this is the prompt that I've done with my analyst agent. Let me show you that. Yeah. So review the Treasury Department demo file and provide a clear executive level treasury operations and cash flow summary for the upcoming leadership meeting. Keep insights concise, visual where possible, charts or tables, and ready for senior leadership presentation. So this is my prompt. This is how I have structured my prompt. I have given it a clear goal, which is to review this Excel sheet. I have uploaded the Excel sheet inside my prompt itself. So that is the source. I have provided it few context why I need this summary to be done, who is it intended for. I have given it some context over here. I have given it expectation also. So this is how I expect. I want the summary to be created in concise manner. I want visualizations to be made wherever possible, and I'm looking it for. I'm trying to do this because I'm trying to present it to my senior leadership team. This is how you structure your prompt, and I have uploaded the Excel file also inside my prompt. Now, one of the key features, one of the most exclusive features that the analyst agent has is it has a, as I mentioned, of course, it has a sandbox environment to run Python code. But in addition to that, it also has this feature called chain of thought reasoning. Let me explain you what chain of thought reasoning is. So previously, Copilot was much more of a, black box environment, you can say. The process that was happening on the back end, you were not able to see it, you were not able to view it. But nowadays, it has become more transparent. It will be showing you while you're waiting for a response, while you're waiting to get an output. It will be showing you the exact steps that it is going through to finally give you the output. So if you notice here, after I've given my prompt, it is going through this chain of thought reasoning process. It will give you the steps that it is executing in the backend to give you the final analysis. So here it is telling me it is going through 23 different steps. So let's look at the steps. The first, it is exploring the file structure. It is going through the file. It is inspecting the structure and the content. The second step, it is coding and executing. So this is what I mentioned. If you are a person who works with Python code, you can also copy this code snippet into your own IDE, and you can run it there locally as well. So this is the Python code that has been generated on the backend to do the analysis using the sandbox environment. And you can see the code and as well as the status of the code, the result of the code. You can see it, the third step, it is loading the sheet contents. It is again coding and executing. So this is the result of that code. The status is success. All right. So let's scroll down. So basically, it is going through 23 different steps. It is giving you the steps that is exactly taking place to give you the final output. So let's scroll to the bottom. And finally, after 5 to 10 minutes, so you have to wait at least 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon the complexity and the size of the file you upload. And after that, you will be getting the detailed analysis of the Excel sheet. So here it is giving me the executive snapshot, a one slide summary that I can use for my presentation, the total cash inflow and outflow, net cash generation, average daily net cash, worst and liquidity trends, cash flow dynamic. So it is giving me a visualize. So it's giving me a line chart as well. So you can see the line chart, which will help me visualize the trends. So daily cash inflow versus outflow. It is giving me the dates and the amount. So it's basically a line chart that will help me, present the slides to my team. And if you want to, let's say, for example, if you're trying to create a presentation out of this, you can either download this image directly, or you can also copy this image from the analyst agent. Let's look at the next chart. So this is for the cumulative net flow over time, the net cash contribution by business area. So you can see the different departments here and the net flow by the departments. The currency and FX exposure view, it is giving me a pie chart to visualize this data. The transaction and payment rail efficiency by transaction type, by payment method. So basically, it is giving me a very detailed analysis of my Excel file that I have uploaded. And you don't have to worry about the reliability. Of course, you have to have a bit of human validation in the end. You have to go through the charts or graphs or whatever it generates. You have to go through it, make sure it is before you use it for your work purpose. But it will help you give the citation for each information that gives you. So if you notice something here, after every paragraph or after every sentence, it is giving you the citation as well. So it is telling you from which source this information came from. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you will be able to see sources here. Just click on it and you will be able to see the Excel file that you uploaded. So this is the source of the information. You can see, of course, after you have generated your output, at the end, you'll be able to see some features here, like to copy the entire response or give it a thumbs up if you like it. Or let's say if you want to schedule this prompt. Now, let's say this is very helpful, when you're trying to do the analysis on a daily basis or in a much more frequent manner. If you're trying to do the analysis, you can schedule this prompt. Now, scheduling works when you have to do the same prompt on a frequent basis. Maybe it can be daily once, or maybe weekly once, or monthly once. According to your frequency, you can schedule this prompt. So the same prompt, as you can see, the same prompt will be run on the same Excel sheet every, let's say, for example, if you're trying to do it daily once, every day at 9 a.m., I can run this prompt and Copilot will be able to give me the response or send me the response via email. So that is when you schedule your prompt, and yeah, you can ask Copilot to read it aloud for you, or if you're trying to create a Word document out of it, you can export it to a Word document. So you have multiple different features here. After you generate your prompt, you can do all these features according to your requirements. Now I have done a follow-up prompt here, which is help me understand the key patterns or trends in this data file. So I want to understand what are the key patterns or trends that are happening inside this Excel file. Again, I can ask the question to my analyst agent. It will go through the file again. It will identify the key patterns, the consistent positive cash generation, upward liquidity trend, broad-based contributions, multi-currency strength. So basically, again, it is going through my file and finding me the trends that I have inside my Excel data. Now, before I generate or before I present these insights to my senior leadership team, let's say, for example, I want to go through my file again and find if there are some outliers or unusual values. So this is again what I mentioned earlier, when you want to clean your Excel file. If you have some missing values or duplicate entries, you want to find some outliers or unusual values. Again, you can use your analyst agent. You don't have to manually go through your Excel sheet anymore. You can use your analyst agent to do the job. So here I'm giving another prompt, very simple prompt. That is not a very complex prompt or anything. It's a very simple one-line prompt. Are there any unusual values or outliers in this data that I should know about? Again, it is going through this chain of thought process. It is writing the code for you. So you can review the steps that it is taking. And finally, after maybe 4 or 5 minutes, it will give you the true statistics. So you can see the outliers if there are any. So it is telling me for transaction level, there are no outliers. For operational outliers, not stated but worth attention. So I can see the large positive transaction and large negative transaction as well. The hidden patterns and the positive skews, and what I can present. So it is not just giving me the insights, but it is also giving me points what I can present to my senior leadership team. So these are the healthy signals, and what are the areas that I need to be aware of, or what are the areas that I need to keep an eye on. It will give me that as well. So this is basically how you use the analyst agent. When you want to find insights from Excel sheet, create dashboards out of it, create graphs or charts out of it in a very simple, natural language process, in a natural language manner, you can make use of the analyst agent. So this is very helpful for people who find using Power BI or any kind of complex analysis tools more difficult. If you find difficulty in that, just give a very simple prompt to your analyst agent and it can help you do the same stuff over here. So that is the analyst agent. And yeah, so let's go back to our slides. And now let's again go to the Copilot in Excel and find the features there. So for the practical demo, I would like to invite my colleague Ragat. So she'll be taking you through the demo of how Copilot is useful within your Excel sheet. Over to you, Ragat.
Thank you so much, Muzamil, for this amazing intro to analyst. And we got too many questions. So I tried to address some of these, but let me just do a quick recap on what you just explained. So just as an where you can find analysts. So let me just share with you. Let me share my screen. So if you can see my screen, if we go to like Copilot, the regular Copilot, we should have the license. This is important because many of you are saying that we cannot find the agent. You should have the enterprise license. How to know that you have the license? You should see here this enterprise data protection, and you should see here the work and web. If you don't see this analyst and researcher and the rest of the agents, go to all agents. So go to all agents as if you're moving to the agent store. And from all agents, you should be able to find researcher and analyst and Microsoft built-in agents. Those agents are built in. It's not the agent that the end user built. It's an agent that Microsoft built already. So this is what we have here on analyst. So just click on analyst and you can definitely start using it. Walid, we will take the answers towards the end of the session just to manage the time the right way. So once I hit on analyst, we will just click on open, and here we go. We will go to analyst. As Muzammil mentioned, definitely with analysts, it's not like as quick as the quick chat, because the at the back end, the technical capabilities that we need is completely different. So that's why it might not be as like quick as the text. I would like just to say that we will take all the questions towards the end of the session. I will definitely dedicate the last 10 minutes for your questions. I'm just highlighting what we did in the first part and addressing your concerns that I got in the chat box. So basically here, if we click on, like, this is my history. These are my previous prompts. If we click here, similar to what Muzammil showed, and when we say analyst, it's perfect when we are building predictive models. And you know, prediction now is part of our life. It's like if we are talking about healthcare, I want to predict like patients' visits, I can use analyst. If we are talking about cash flow, we can definitely use analyst. It's a great way to visualize data, and it's a great way to analyze in an advanced way, because you know, with Excel we are limited. With Copilot chat we're also limited. It will give me basic output, but with analyst definitely it is advanced. So analyst is bringing to your table all the capabilities of Python and R. So you can just now speak your query in natural language and then just ask analyst to execute it for you. See here, you can schedule the prompt. We got a question about scheduling the prompt, which also Muzammil showed. You can schedule the prompt if you are to report a certain info on weekly basis. You can definitely do that. However, if your input is changing, you need to input that again. You can save the prompt, but you need to input this again. So now you need to add the input as needed. So if the data is changing, this is a new input. You need to re-enter this input or re-input this file. Analyst can work with comma separated files. It can work with Excel files. Those are the best optimal files to deal with in analyst. But as you said, if we have unstructured data, can analysts deal with? Yes, but again, this yes is we need to see your data. If it is pure images, no, we need to revisit that because we know now data is available in many ways. The optimal way is comma separated and Excel. If we have an Excel merged cells, Copilot should be able to read this as well, or analysts should be able to read this as well. It should, if you gave specific instructions for data pre-processing, like for example, first remove duplicates and then do this and do that, analysts should be able to follow these steps at your data. Definitely validation is a must, definitely, till you capture what you want, because this is the concept of AI. We cannot just take the output without validation. And if you want to make like you are generating a dashboard on weekly basis and your input file is changing, this is a different story. And that's why I invite you to stay tuned for the coming sessions that are happening within our academy. So we will just talk about how we can create new agents, whether it's retrieval or whether it's dynamic. And again, for creating agents or creating dashboards with dynamic input, or we are linking our knowledge, source of knowledge or information into data that we have in, this is completely different story. But definitely it's not a blocker against using analyst. So analyst is as if I'm hiring a data analyst who's an expert in Python capabilities, as Muzammil showed. So here, as you can see, the back end, it's all about Python. So it can call your file, and then it will definitely do the steps that you want, understand what's in it. So if we are running this data into any like Spider or Jupyter or any let's say platform with Python, you can definitely copy paste these codes and make it ready and validate as needed. And as we said, it is a great way to build forecasting models and to like fine tune the parameters as needed. And also it is a great way to visualize data because we have limitations of what we can get on Excel and what we can get on Copilot chat. And also here, analyst is good with large amount of data. If it is unstructured, yes, definitely we will need to double check. But the best best files or the optimal match are comments separated. I hope I answered the concerns and the queries that we had in the chat. So we showed you how you can pull it up. If you don't see it, then unfortunately you need to check with your IT admin, given that you have the license, the enterprise license, because it's not, the only way is that it's blocked from IT admin or inside the organization. Otherwise, it should be here in all agents or in the agent store. So this is how we can find analysts and how we can go and prompt analyst and schedule our prompts. In this case, if the input is dynamic and it's changing, we need to feed it manually as needed. All right, let me now walk you on what we have on Excel, because definitely what we have on Excel is amazing and interesting. And again, if you still have any questions on analyst, we can definitely revisit that in the 10 minutes slots that we will dedicate for questions. Now, first, if you don't see the icon, because we got a question about where can I find my Copilot. So see here, I have dummy data. So this is just dummy data. It doesn't it's just created for demonstration purposes. We have this Copilot icon. So as I told you now, you can see it on the on the bottom right corner, similar to what I can see here. And it's like giving you some tips. So see here, these tips are always useful. Sometimes we underestimate these tips, but they are always useful. Why? Because this is the best language of how to talk to your Copilot. It's, yes, natural language, but there are always tips and tricks. So when I'm adding a formula, it is recommended to tell Copilot, create a formula or add a formula, because this will, let's say, in the back end, the searching algorithm for Copilot will directly go to formulas library, do formatting, apply this, show charts, create, etc. These keywords are definitely very, very useful. So this is where you can find your Copilot. If we are opening a new Excel file from desktop, let's assume I'm opening a new file from my desktop. If you don't see it to the bottom right, you can see it here in the ribbon. This is my Copilot. One prerequisite is that we need to have our files on the OneDrive, because this is like a prerequisite for Copilot to start working, and this is doable. We need just to save it on our OneDrive. Make sure that we have the enterprise license so that we can actually use Copilot and Excel, and then just make sure that it is on our OneDrive environment. Now see, this is my file and it has multiple sheets. Now Copilot can read multiple sheets and it can read also files from my environment. So I can also call a file from other environment or call a table from other environment. This is also doable. One note we need to keep in mind, as Muzammil mentioned, since we're dealing with data and it has more logic, it might not be as like doing text, because like the Copilot chat, it's LLM. It's like we're dealing with text and it's well trained on text. Here, what is happening at the back end, what is being run is definitely time consuming, and that's why we just need to expect, let's say, a little bit higher duration for execution. Now, this is my Copilot, as you can see. And as you can see here, we have here two options. Let me just make that a little bit so that we can see it. So we have two options. We can allow editing and we can chat only. And also we have this plan, which is very new. So let's just focus on allow editing and chat only. If I switch to chat only, it is as if I'm opening Copilot chat on my Excel. So if I'm dealing with Excel all the time, this is my chat only, and I can just treat it like the same way I treat this Copilot chat that we covered in our previous sessions within this series in our academy. So here, if I clicked on this plus button, we can see that you can call your meetings, your files, your people, etc., whatever you want. But what is the difference with the chat only if we don't have this license, or if we have the license but I'm just chatting to my Copilot? No execution would happen to the left-hand side. So here, no, like I will not be able to execute things to the left-hand side. I can still talk to my Copilot, but I need to do things manually. If I decided to add like a table or a couple of notes or etc., I need to do that manually. Since we covered that previously, let us focus on allow editing. And allow editing is basically, I am telling my Copilot, I'm not just chatting with you. I want you to do some edits to my sheet, to my file, and to the left-hand side. And these edits, what does it include? These edits include that I can now attach and upload a couple of files, couple of type of files. So basically, these files are the files that are available on my cloud environment. So you can call files, Excel files, you can call a Word document, you can call PowerPoint and PDF, and maybe get data out of that. You can definitely tell that to Copilot. So now you can, let's say, merge files or merge sheets or like add rows and columns from different files. This is an option that has been also recently added. You can also upload from your environment, and that's why when we say upload from my environment, it means automatically the file, we have a copy in our OneDrive. Another interesting thing here is that, as we can see here, the models that we can use are really impressive. So again, it's not only the auto model, we also have the GPT models if we have people with preference to OpenAI models and Anthropic models. We also have Claude models. So you can call the model of preference to you. And again, what is the difference? Do we have significant difference or no? All of these models share the same concept of training and testing, but because of the behavior, there might be some differences. Depending also on your input, depending on the data we are pre-processing, depending on what we are doing, this might affect the output. Like, for example, if the output is solid, I'm looking for a certain percent, the percent will be the same across all models. However, the way it might be presented, the way the model will approach your prompt would be different. So feel free to select the model that you want, but in terms of like how would that be different, or how significant difference we would get in the output, this is definitely depending on your prompt and on many factors. The best way to answer this question is to test. Same prompt, test it with multiple models and see what you can get. Now let's see what we can get with Copilot here. We can create new sheets, and we can start with like adding, creating some formula, doing some pre-processing. And let me start with the basic things. And just because sometimes some of the prompts might take a little bit longer, especially when we're creating a new sheet from scratch. So let's keep it till later. And let's start here, and let us just start with the basic check. So see here, I am on this sheet, but even if I was on any other sheet, now Copilot can read the different sheets, but I need to tell Copilot where to go to make the life easier. But if I didn't mention that, then Copilot will start questioning you as well. So my job today is to show you how you can prompt Copilot with the best way that will save you time and energy and get what you want in the minimum time, or in the optimal time that Copilot can do the job. So I'm working here on this account data. And as I said, this is completely dummy data that we have, and I'm working on the web. And as you can see, we have a couple of accounts data here, and I'm managing these accounts, and I want to see some analysis or some trends or etc. We can be generic and tell Copilot, show me basic trends or key trends from this sheet. This is something that we can definitely do. But again, if I am generic, I will get generic output, then Copilot will just bring top things and just show you the most important trends that it should be shown. But let us just practice together prompting and writing formulas and getting charts so that you can mimic that at your end as well. So now I'm going to tell my Copilot, and we have some, like for each account, we have classes and we have, let's say, some data or input for per month. So we need to just look into that and do just some verification or do some, let's say, analysis at the back end. So I'm going to start with asking Copilot as a part of pre-processing. So I will tell Copilot, help me create a formula, and see this. This is just like a tips and tricks for how to prompt Copilot. Create a formula that checks if we have or if there are any duplicate account numbers. And sometimes in data pre-processing, if we are lucky and we got like these structured features, you can definitely feed them into Analyst and list the pre-processing steps that you want. Like first do this, like check for duplicates and remove duplicates, remove missing values, remove blanks, etc. You can definitely do that in Excel, but definitely with Analyst, it would be more advanced as an especially if you have more data and more records. So see my prompt, create a formula, and this is like, it's a good beginning of the sentence. If you want to write it in a different way, check if there is any duplicate account numbers or etc. You can definitely write it that way. But again, my recommendation for you, if we are to build a formula, if we're looking for a formula, ask Copilot to create a formula to check for duplicate account numbers. Now, I'm not calling any other file from there, and I'm active on this sheet. And as I told you, we don't need to be active on it, but if you can be active on it and give little direction to Copilot, straightforward direction, that would be the optimal scenario. So this is something that we can easily go ahead and hit on generate. If we want to change the model, we can definitely do that. I'm going to keep it on auto just for the sake of time to show you more and more prompts. But definitely, if you want to see the difference between these models, as I said, the output is static. It's not going to change, like the percent is the same, or like it's either we have duplicates or we don't have duplicates. However, the way the model will approach your model might be, or your prompt might be a little bit different. So as we can see here, Copilot is giving me the reasoning, as Muzammil mentioned. So the reasoning behind what is happening. And as you can see here, we got the reasoning in one step. And here Copilot is telling me I will do this formula as needed. And see here, Copilot is telling me this is the column that I can add, which is basically, it is an if statement with a count if. If it is mentioned more than once, then it is duplicate. Otherwise, it is not duplicate. And then I got the summary. And this summary, it is telling me the result, the final result, no duplicates found, because I wanted to check if we have any duplicate account numbers. And this is what we get as a final query. So if we want to check or like check and click on that, we can see that we got the formula. You can definitely make use of this formula, or like just remove it with the regular copy paste formulas if you don't want to keep it as needed. If you wanna, you didn't like that and you want Copilot to check per each account, yes or no, you can definitely ask Copilot, add a column with a formula. So add a column is another keyword that Copilot like. So when we are creating a formula, whether it's a formula for a statistical analysis, or it's a formula for any kind of a formula, variance analysis, or etc., it is recommended to tell Copilot to create a formula. If I'm adding a whole column, we can tell Copilot, add a column with a formula for this and that. And this is absolutely correct. We don't have any duplicate values. Same applies if I want to do pre-processing for missing values, blanks, or etc. We can definitely ask this to Copilot. What else we can do? We can literally do basic formulas and advanced formulas. So let me show you another interesting scenario that we can do. And let me just delete that. And let me just delete it as this. And what I'm going to do here is that I want my Copilot. So here we have these data and we're still in formulas. we still did not like do any visualization. We have the account classes, and as I said, we have data for each account. We're just keeping track of these accounts for like certain months from January to June. Now, what if I want to retrieve the group? So here we have another data pulled from a different database, and I have the priority group for each account number, and I want the priority group to be added here. So this is something that we can add to this column. Generally, what we do is that, or like if we want to do that, we either manually, we will check just manually, right? Just copy paste, and we will see this account number and the priority classes too. Or we can use a basic VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP function, right? And now these formulas are also doable with Copilot. So you can just express what you have in mind and ask Copilot to execute it accordingly. So Copilot can do basic formulas from chicken duplicates or validating if statement into advanced formulas, and same applies for the rest of the formulas. Let's start a new formula, and same here, create a formula. So this is the best way to ask the Copilot for creating a formula, or add a column with a formula, create a formula that looks for the account in the sheet group. We need to mention here the sheet group, and again you can express it in your natural language. This is the strength of AI. So how you approach things, how our mind approach things, you can express it the way you want. But the key word here that it is recommended not to drop is the name of the sheet, because if you just tell Copilot look for the account number in the rest of the sheets, this will take longer for Copilot. It's just like as if you are giving instructions, but your instructions are not clear. The more clear and structured the instructions, the less time it will take to execute your prompt. So create a formula that looks for the account on the sheet that is called the group, and retrieve the right priority group. And this is like, if we want to do this manually, it's just like tedious copy paste, or with a VLOOKUP function. Now this is doable. And again, sometimes here we cannot just sort this and just copy paste. Why is that? Because we're pulling from two different databases. I'm doing the matching. So matching processes are doable. And let me give you another hint here. What if I don't have this file, or I don't have this data, the group data in my file? What if I have it in another file? It's also doable. You can call the other file and tell Copilot to do the match from other file. But again, as I told you, call in other files and checking for your value will definitely take a little bit longer. But conceptually, it is doable. So this is the way, the best way to write the prompt. Create a formula, because I'm directing Copilot to go to the formulas, and then look for the account on this sheet and retrieve the right priority group for each account. Let me just add it here for each account. And see here, we have keywords like this, the name of the sheet, add a formula or create a formula. This is key, and it is recommended to stick to it, because this is the best way to approach your AI tool. And I'm going to go ahead and hit on generate. If we don't have this file in our hand, in my sheet, what I can do is that, and I have it on another file, same prompt, but just like I will tell Copilot, add the file, and then tell Copilot, read this file and pull up the account or like the priority class from the file attached, and add it here as well. So just to speak up your mind, what you want to do, and it should be gathered to you the right way. So as we can see here, Copilot retrieved, it executed this priority group, and this is what we got. Definitely we need to validate. We got too many questions on validation. We need to validate, but I assure you with numbers, the accuracy is really very good. The reasoning, if we are interested of what happened inside, you can also use Copilot to educate you. For many of you, this formula might be basic. Pivot tables might be basic, right? But for many of us, other people, or new hires or trainees or etc., this is something new. So we can definitely make the best of AI and make AI to train you and to educate you on your data. It's no longer generic. So this is the formula that Copilot decided to use, and we have it here. And then we have it explained how it's work, and why did Copilot go with this value as an XLOOKUP, and how did Copilot assign the table to read from, and so on and so forth. And as you can see, we got a couple of samples displayed, and then we got it all here displayed here. Let's just take a quick sample and validate. And here we go. Let's just take this account. And for this account, the priority group is 8. If we go back here and we look into that, we can see that for this account, it's also 8. So the right number has been retrieved. The right priority group has been retrieved the right way. What else we can do? If I want to approach Copilot to create insights or to create visuals, this is all doable, but I'm just mindful of the time. So just let me click, let me just create this for you quickly. Create, let's say, a bar chart that shows the percent for the percent of accounts per class. So I want to achieve this and I want to see it per class. So directly, quickly, no need to calculate percentages, no need to do formulas. So literally no formulas are needed, but I don't want a bar. Let's make it a pie chart. And I want to see the percent of each account per class or account numbers per class. And let's just hit on generate and let me open the floor for questions. Are we missing anything? You can definitely, for the people who raised their hands, we have Walid and Jose. Please feel free to address your questions now. I will try my best to get all your concerns. Let us see what we have here. I use MS for data warehouse. Can I configure analyst agent to craft a query for me? So this is what we just answered. So we would invite you to just stay tuned where we show some agents and anything. If I'm connecting any agent like analyst, researcher, etc., to like other in-house databases, this is a completely different story. So it takes investigation and validation and critical skills to see how we need to make things work for you. Will the prompt in Excel file be saved after closing the file and turn off the laptop so you can reuse it? I think Muzammil answered that, and this is a yes. If I have a large volume, so I think Muzammil, you got everything, right? Anything I missed? Let me know if I missed anything. Yes, and I think we had two hands, right? If your questions are still there, just let me know, and we can definitely work on that. So see here, we got our class, and on the same here, what we got, this is like the classes that we get, and this is like the count, the percentages, and this is like I asked for the percentages, and this is what we got. We need to validate. For me, I know that this is accurate because this is like the data that I created, but definitely we need to validate. How can I validate? Like I know that the total numbers is around 2000, and this is definitely, it reflects reality. Again, you can ask Copilot to create a chart for you from scratch. Like at any point of time, I want to just start a new chat and then ask Copilot. For example, here we have a ready prompt. Like let's assume I want to ask my Copilot, create a monthly budget tracker for my company with categories like rent, salaries, utilities, extras, and others. Apply conditional formatting and data bars for over percent, under percent, etc. And this is to be done on a new sheet. Is this doable by Copilot? Yes. And you can definitely hit on generate, and let's see how would Copilot approach that. Change the model as needed, as we said, and explore more and more. So the key idea today is to give you the how to talk to Copilot, how to approach Copilot so that you can save time of misunderstanding between you and your engine. Yeah, let me see hands raised. Feel free. Is it doable to unmute and talk? I was trying to grab your attention to share the screen. Thanks. Oh, okay. I shared the screen, right? Walid? Okay. What we have, can Copilot do a big data analysis? Yeah. So again, these kind of questions are to be tested. I cannot say yes or no because, data is like when we say we receive data, data can be in images, data can be in comma separated, and with many features, the same concept that we studied in data science and like principal component analysis and how we can reduce dimensionality and etc. All here is a factor, but we cannot like conceptually it's a yes. But the best way is to feed and see, Worst case scenario, we would say we can split the data, but it should be doable because in Python, generally, so it's based in Python. In Python, we don't have these limitations on the data size, what it happens is that it will take longer. And with AI, we need to test with these extremely, let's say, extraordinary files. I hope I answered you, Adel. Who else? Lama, can Copilot in Excel use external or web-based data sources to generate insights? When we say web-based, it's like to take data from a web. We need to look into this website, right? So we got actually this use case and scenario, and this is it changing. What is the website? Is it like in a table, you know? So basically, if it's like financial data or fact sheet, maybe if I got your question the right way, if it is a fact sheet or data and I want to link it to a website, we need to look into the website and how would our AI approach it. As I told you, the best way in the meantime is to have your data ready in Excel or like feed it in Analyst, you know. Any linkage to websites or in-house systems, it needs further investigation. Who else? Yeah. If we upload our data, will it be secure? Yes, it should. With this enterprise data protection, it should be secure. Feel free to upload your data. Again, this should also be addressed from your internal organization. I'm addressing your question from my perspective. But if it is a property of an enterprise, this should be regulated from their circulation. I'm sure you know. Muzamil, got that? Anyone I missed, please feel free to, if it is an option, to unmute and talk. Anyone I missed, Muzamil, just help me out here.
I think we have got all the questions, Raghav.
All right. I think we have, did we get Jose's question? I think he raised his hand, but I'm not sure. Anyways, if we missed anyone, feel free to drop in and we will make sure to take it. So see here, it's still creating the budget tracker, but we should be there. It is taking longer time because it's like creating this budget tracker with a lot of utilities, and I was generic with a lot of items. But see here, it is the categories. Our categories are like rent, salaries, office supplies, marketing, insurance, and then you can edit. So you want to tell Copilot, I don't want any budget for travel and entertainment. I want to do this and that. You can definitely ask Copilot for changes. Change this planned versus this, you know? So this is like the foundation. If we're building templates, the foundation that used to take the most important step, and it used to take months, is now being able to be done in one single day or less. Definitely able to be customized, adding logos and in alignment with the enterprise, let's say, regulations and policies. All right. If we did not miss anyone and we're good, I think I'm going to pause here. And until next time.
Thank you so much, Muzammil. Thank you so much, Rahat, for an amazing session. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us and having more insights about Copilot in Excel. As you know, this is a part of our academy, and our next session is on May 21st, and we'll cover Copilot in PowerPoint and Word. So feel free to follow Cloud for Work on LinkedIn for more insights about our upcoming events and for new updates. And yeah, see you there then. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, Rahat and Muzammil, for an amazing session as always.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.